Thank you all for joining, and let's get right to it. This release, we have made quite a few improvements to the UX from the perspective of making it easier, more understandable, and fewer clicks. Like, we really focused on making sure that you have to click as little as possible. So we have made some UX changes. That's the first part. Making those UX changes, we also redefined the workflow and the way you'd approach content. The workflow that we currently have now will help you save tons of hoops, like closing the wizard, going here, turning things off, going back to the wizard, doing some research, and then all of that back and forth and confusion around where do I really get started and how do I accelerate and what should my ideal workflow be like. So let's get to it. All right, so you guys can see my screen. Our normal AI wizard had 3 steps. We have changed that to 5. Well, fifth is actually your AI editor. So we've added an additional step of research, which is collecting key points. So that is a major change. But along those changes, we'll see many improvements. So let's get to this. If you hover over it now, you will see a line, and you no longer need to double click on any element in Outranking to edit it. So it's simple as that. You just need to hover it and click and start editing with right. It like this was a major trouble for many of our users in understanding how do I change this title. Let's click next, and we can do the same thing here. We'll click next. Now, here we made many changes over here, as well as enhanced this feature with quite a bit of newer functionalities. So the first thing that we've added here is edit research data. Before, you had to actually close this down, go to research and data, turn off the pages that you did not want Outranking to read or curate outlines from, and come back over here and then start working with it. Now you have that data right within the AI wizard, so you no longer need to close the AI wizard and click a few more steps to get to this information. You can have it accessed at one click. And similarly, you can read through all the pages and all the information just how you did in the other data source. Let's go back. So again, right, like you have the ability to turn the pages as and when you like. Let's go back. The layout, the default layout for the outlines now is singular. We had double column before, which you still have. If people prefer to have double columns, you can click on it and it will turn into 2-column thing where you can actually read more data in a smaller screen. But we feel this is how you should really approach, go one by one, so you are not constantly juggling between which ideas to choose from and losing focus. So this is a better workflow. We've added SERP score here to allow you to score those pages right away. Now let's go ahead and click this. Okay, we've added this numbers over here, which represents how much or how many times these keywords have been mentioned in any of the emphasized tags on a competitor website. You can see that similarly for NLP topics as well, to kind of understand which ones are more important, which ones are less, which ones you should cover, which ones you don't want to cover. Let's minimize that. Now let's generate some H2 ideas. And we should have a few ideas now. Okay, so we have some ideas over here. Many people struggled with outline. How do I drag and drop it? Hey, I'm losing my stuff. Like, I don't really know how that works. So what we did was we totally changed the entire library, redid the entire drag and drop to make it much more user friendly. You can drag and drop. You can simply just pull it inside to make it an H3. You can pull it outside to make an H3. This is also a seamless process, and you no longer need to double click on anything to make those changes. These changes are reflected in streaming environment. So as soon as you click anywhere outside of it, it is automatically saved. This will save you tons and tons of clicks. So then we've added the ability to see how many sections you need to target between 11 to 33. So we don't want you to go and keep jumping hoops to find the information to curate the best outline. We really think if your outline is really solid, everything else will be automatically solid. So being this as the first step, we wanted to give kind of everything that you need in here to make sure you have the best outline. So you have 4, you need to target 11 to 33. Then we go to the left of it, and you will see this new option, which is content brief. Many of you work in a team environment. You don't depend on the AI to essentially write the entire content for you, but you depend on the AI to do the research for you. You build content briefs and build in detail information that you can then pass on to whoever is the next person in line to help you facilitate that writing process. So we added an option for content brief. You can click on it and everyone's going to see default if you don't have anything. If you want a new template, you can click on new template and click on a new template. So now you will see that we've added many controls, and some are AI driven, some are much more in detail, some are less in detailed, right? So you can curate the best information, like the best content brief that you want or that fits your writing process, then automate that, right? So I will just add temporary here, and we'll save this, and you can make this an H2 as well, so it highlights in the, and we can select this as default. And then once it's default, you and all of your team members will automatically have that default as the default button. So if you click on content brief, it will automatically only generate the brief that you want it to. And it can automatically curate outlines, suggest internal links, external links, statistics, and all of it, right? So check that out in detail. If you have a very mature agency process and you're prone to using some of the steps to do it, now you can customize those steps and have it part of your workflow. Also, if you'd feel like you want to hide any of these buttons from your workflow, you can do that as well in your settings tab, and just clicking on which one is your default, whether you want to hide premium draft or not. So it sort of reduces the clutter as to how your teams need to be trained and what steps they need to exactly take in order to get started and finish that content properly. Okay, let's look at the second one, is factual research. So before we had premium draft, we removed that and we added a step of research first. So what was happening is that when you generate premium draft, it was essentially doing the research first and then writing the entire paragraphs for you. Well, the process was a little disjointed, because what if you want to control some aspects of that input that goes into premium draft? What if the content is not good and the entire paragraph is filled out? Then you just have to delete this, find new information, and do this all over again. We wanted to reduce that, and we wanted to make research as part of your workflow. So the better your research is, the better your output is going to be for the premium draft as well. You can use as little of nudging as you'd want to the AI, or you can just simply do go to the next step and click next again and generate the premium draft. But now you have the ability to do many things with this factual research as part of your workflow. So let's go ahead and generate. Okay, so now we have all of our research, which is an added step. And you can similarly add your own research data points to all of these. If you feel like you want to add a product pros and cons or something like that, you can click on add a section. It will add that to the very end. You can add cons, expand this, and you can drag this inside if you want and make this a con. And before, you did not have the ability to extract cons or disadvantages from existing content. So now you can do that here before it actually builds out your content, right? So this is part of your workflow. If you wanted to build, feature list, disadvantages, pros, cons, all of that can be researched here and passed on to for building out the premium draft as the next part of it. This will also save you some characters, as well as it will make sure that they're managing your expectations as to what the premium draft will look like when you go to the very last step. And then you can click on premium draft. So, okay. And now it sort of build out the sections that we had already generated research for. So much simpler way, instead of jumping the hoops and getting to this particular point. Although it's an edit step, it will save you tons and tons of clicks and tons of time in just navigating around the product. Then you can quickly just refresh the score, and you will see where we are with the content, and you can make those minor modifications. Now, this brings us to the next part of the enhancement that we brought in this particular release. Let's go to our SEO and I go to topics. We have improved the logic of topics by quite a bit. So now it is going to bring 3 times more data, better data, and you have ability to cluster them. So if you see content and you see number 9 over here, that means it has 9 variations. We can click on it and it will show you the entire cluster for content. You can click on it again and it will hide that cluster automatically. So now you can click on, say, with keyword. So you see keyword research, discovery, target keywords, ranking keywords, keyword ideas, keyword stuffing, stop keywords. Now this is the data that I'm talking about. Even for a topic that only has 30, 30 in volume of traffic, the amount of data that now we read is 10 times. Not only that, the way we are structuring and collecting information from Google NLP data is going through extensive layer of data filtering on our side as well. And we've tried to do this by making sure that it doesn't really affect the latency of how much time you need to wait for a document to load. So there has been some tremendous amount of improvements here, and we'll also keep seeing some improvements on this and better and more data. So now, if you had existing documents before, those keywords will still be old. So if you want to refresh those, you're going to have to create a new document or refresh the data, which will again consume one more credit, but it will fetch the new data and it will analyze again and it will recapture some of this keyword. Now, since this data has improved so much, that it can also affect the scores of your existing content. So not existing content because those keywords are already saved in your file and everything is working, the logic is working based on that. But if you were to refresh the score or if you were to refresh the document, the new score that you will get could be lower. That means you might need to do a little more improvements and stuff like that. But again, our core algorithm that we have for outranking is still super solid. Whether you use total AI, whether you use a little bit of human touch or extensive amount of human touch, if you optimize the content the way outranking is suggesting, it will outperform. And I hope you bring that results to you. The entire update for AI Wizard is in the Learn section now. So click on it, and this big video screen that you see here is the entire new workflow for AI Wizard. And make sure to use it. Let's look at a few small enhancements that we have done here. Now you can have a role assigned to a person that's working on your team as well. And you can automate some of the notifications that go to them. So as soon as someone changes this to project manager and assigns it, you can automatically send a brief to that person based on certain triggers. And you will learn more about that in the next release, which will have the full scale version of that attached with optimization brief. So this is the very quick overview of what we are bringing in 7.7. 7.8 is everything about optimization. And everything about optimization, I mean, is we will similarly, you have like writing briefs, content writing briefs, you can have optimization brief. And the way the briefs happen is not similar to the process of actually creating a content and doing all the analysis and optimizing your existing content. What happens is when you write really good content, you tend to rank for hundreds of keywords, but you're not essentially optimizing for 70 or the like 70-30 keywords in that huge list. What if you could make very minor adjustments to your content, to certain parts of your page that can boost your ranking in those lower 50% of those keywords for that one particular page and help you bring twice as much traffic overnight, is what we are going to focus on. And automating that entire process of how you can collaborate with teams to facilitate this optimization process on bigger websites, smaller websites. So this is the roundup of what we have in 7.7. 7.8 is again going to be a bigger show because we are totally revamping our quick win feature for that.
Awesome. We're ready for some questions. Tim is asking, can we remove irrelevant sources and add URLs of competitors we know are ranking?
Absolutely, right? Like that was the first part of our workflow, is you can click on edit research data and you can turn off any competitors that you don't want. You can click on add URL to add your own right here. So it's part of your entire workflow now. So everything, most the entire conceptualization, planning, and research happens at the stepping stone of AI Wizard. And I would like, if you joined in late, either revisit this webinar, or I strongly urge you to look at a detailed walkthrough of how to use the AI Wizard in the Learn library.
And this video has been updated today, just so you know.
Yes, the video has been updated today, like a few hours, like
A
not even
few
one
hours
hour
ago,
ago.
yeah. Samarjit is asking, can we generate benefits FAQ introduction instead of key points as well?
Absolutely. But like, so that's what I was referring to, and maybe I skipped that step. Is when you're here, and if you see, like, I don't have cons. Yeah, there we go. I have cons here, right? So let's say I have my source data. I can click on edit background data. I can supply that background data, or and then once I have that, if you hover on this, you will see that entire list of all the concept types that you can extract here. So you can extract benefits here and then construct a paragraph when it goes to premium draft. Disadvantages similarly, right? So even writing product reviews or anything absolutely that you want can all happen right here before you generate that first draft, click that button, and get to that 80-90% ready post.
So we have a question about the add-ons. Since we've changed that, how can people get more documents or characters?
So currently we have one $69 character add-on, million character add-on. If you need more, you can have it in multiples of. And if if you face problem with it, you can reach out to support. We have just updated, so there might be a little lag in getting the document add-ons updated, but we will have a 2 document add-on which are all one time. So purchase it, and then if you don't use it, like, it just rolled over. But those will be updated along with it.
Awesome. I see a lot of comments saying that people love the new updates, both to the UX and to the workflow. Awesome. This is great to hear. Any other questions? David is asking about additional video on the content brief function. Yes, we do have a video that Pankil just showed is available in the Learn section. So if you click on Learn, you'll get the video, but also the video is available on YouTube. I think already available. If not, everyone is going to get an email with recording of this webinar and a link to additional video on how to use this content brief.
And one thing I missed here was you can add your tone of voice before you generate your premium draft. Before, even that was 1, 2, 3 clicks away. So this is now 1 click away.
And for newbies here, we did have an available function to change the research, like we brought it up here, but we did have a way to change it. So it's not new, it's just a little bit more, not as hidden. Tim is asking, can you export the keyword and clusters to use for blog posts later?
Yes, absolutely. And this keyword, like, once you generate the research, these keywords are not going away. But if you really wanted to do that, you can create a custom brief template. And let's say I want all the clusters, right? So we have a specific one, topics and cluster. So let me copy that, and I will just paste this in here. And I'll make this an H2. I will save it. And then once we're here, we can go back again, and let me delete the content here so we can see this in a better mode. And then once you're here, or you are in the key points or wherever, you can generate that, right? So a temp is my default, apply. Let's generate the content brief, and now it will fetch all the cluster and put it in here. There's also a different function that allows you to export this content brief on automation. So these are all the clusters that it brought, and you can, yeah, it's a huge list, right? Like, so it's hundreds and hundreds of keywords. So be mindful as to how you use it. But there is also a separate feature, which lets you export some of this information into a Scratchpad if you wanted to.
Any future plans for making Outranking work in WordPress and Google Docs?
We have a plugin that just came in today. We've been reworking it altogether. The only challenge that we're facing is making it work with Rank Math and Yoast, but it's pretty much ready. So we're hoping to do this WordPress release next week along with our 7.8 release. So you'll be able to download this new plugin. And you'll be able to do export and import. Now, this is much powerful than what it used to do before. So an import in the next release next week for WP plugin will export all the images, anchor text locally. So exporting all the images locally. If you attach it here, it would automatically export that, import that, create a blog post, add all the links with all the right matrices on it. So the external links need to be no follow, it will do that. The internal links need to be follow, will do that. It will add everything that it needs to, and then keep your post ready for you to publish. So all you have to do is click publish. But that will be ready next week.
So Roger was asking about the background data in the research window. What is the background data?
Are we talking about this and this and this is both the same? Background data is what Outranking reads from the ranking perspective, from content creation perspective. So if you want to add your own data that you want to use in order to generate content or use it as a source for building out your content, then you can add those URLs here and you'll be able to get access to their H2s, H3s, content and everything, as part of the writing journey. And if you want to disallow certain pages, you can as well. You cannot add plain text in background data. If you want to add plain text, then you need to go to key point and add plain text in the background data of a particular section that you are trying to generate, not an entire list. Background, like if the plain text is not structured, it is not easy to identify the core of what we are trying to search in it. So you're better off adding it in edit background data here by smaller pieces at a time.
Wants to know what's coming up in version 8.
What's coming in V8? Oh, V8. We're not going to talk about V8. That would be giving away too much information. But 7.8 is a big milestone towards optimization, how you approach optimization of existing pages. And it's not always like coming to editor and doing the entire analysis and then going back and optimizing those pages. Like that's backward ways of optimizing existing pages, pages which are ranking in the first page or second page or third page of Google need to be optimized a little differently many times than our usual approach of reworking the entire content. So we want to focus on helping you accelerate your organic traffic from those pages that are already like making some noise but not really, and we want to make sure that they make a lot of noise for you. So that's what 7.8 is about. And it is also about workflows. So if you work with someone who's either handling this optimization, technical optimization, is handling content optimization, you can divide that workload and you can automate sending briefs to individual people. So it's focusing towards optimization challenges in a complex environment as well as a solo environment. So if you have websites where you're trying to bring traffic to that you're writing for yourself or as a part of an SEO manager in a company, this is going to be kick-ass. This can really improve your OKRs overnight, like improve your traffic to 20-30% in a single month.
Sounds good.
Any updates to folders? Yes, you are now able to search within folder. The ability to star a folder and share the entire folder with a team member is part of 7.8. Yeah, pin the folder or star it.
Okay. Should we wait till version 7.8 is released to revise older articles using quick wins?
You can optimize your existing content piece. And it's not a wrong approach. It's a lengthier approach by reworking many of the content pieces. So if you're trying to do this at scale, sometimes you will face an issue that, hey, like I don't really want to work through the entire topic, which is already ranking on the second page, a few pages, like few keywords on the first page. Like, how do I make this move further? It's never top of your priority list. So if it comes to optimizing it, you often tend to push it back because it requires a lot of rework, understanding what topics are missing, and many other things with the approach that we currently have, and majority of the tools that are out there have. What we're doing in V8 is modular. You will be able to track what changes you are making to your content and what improvements they are making in your ranking. and what effect that is having in your organic traffic. You will be able to track that entire cycle with quick wins later on. So if you're like, if you've been using extensively quick wins up till right now, um, many of those pages have already been converted into documents, so you are good to go. You will not lose anything. But quick wins is a very significant change in the entire structuring of how you are going to optimize this thing at scale, and this brings a lot of challenges. So we like it's going to be the process of writing is still, I would say, like a little bit of a learning curve, but like optimization is going to need very little learning curve. It's going to be as easy as that if you just do it the right way. So up to you, but either one will work. Uh, this brings to the next question. When Quick Wins is released, Quick Wins does come with a different set of capabilities and different sets of data and different sets of things that we do. And we have not really discussed on pricing it yet and how we want to do this. It will be available to our LTDs and like majority of the people, but the way we price this might be very different because it's doing additional things and bringing additional data, and we will see like the approach is super unique. So I'm excited to show it to you, but I just don't want to get into the weeds of it just yet.
Will is asking, since V7 has been such a moving target of features, it would be good to reorganize your YouTube playlist to help us focus on the current version of Outranking. Yes, absolutely, totally agreed with you. That's what we are going to work on in the next couple of weeks. Make sure that YouTube is up to date. Will there be an intro pricing for initial subscribers like we did for the add-on subscription?
Yes, there will be an intro for it. There also will be a free trial, an extended free trial for you guys to test it out, because it can take a week for you to really see those impacts and your rankings improve. So I know, Vikram, you have your own website and you write content, and many of you over here have your own websites. So the changes that you will make in Quick Wins, like you'll almost sort of be able to track it like every 3 days as to how good of an impact it's making on your existing content, and what sort of effects it's really having it like in a live environment. So experimentation and making those quick changes and quick wins is going to be super easy. So we want you to really realize that. So it's going to be an extended free trial, but then yes, it will be a special pricing for our LTD users and for our early subscribers of that.
Great. Valerie is asking, does the new workflow only apply to the new content, or does it also apply to importing existing content to optimize on Outranking?
So if existing content that is not created in Outranking, if you approach with the similar workflow, you're just going to have to close out the AI wizard and not do anything in AI wizard. But for optimization, the workflow is slightly different. I would pick SEO optimization workflow and add your URL and then add your focus keyword on the topic. That way, it's going to get the URL, the topics, and everything, and it's going to bypass the AI wizard and take you to the optimization screen where you can start reworking your content, finding gaps, and things that you can do to improve your content.
About entering focus keyword, can we enter in multiple separated by a comma or just one?
No, you cannot, and you should not. Your focus keyword should be one, and then you identify keywords that would make sense to go along with it to rank for it. Now, I will tell you, like this is like, I don't agree with the approach of optimizing for two very different keywords in one query, because it almost never works. You're trying to focus on too many things. It could be misaligned intent, it could be misaligned in content. The flexibility on how much optimization you can do for one keyword just tremendously deteriorates. So what you'd really need to do is start with one keyword that you really want to target as an initial step. Like, we want one thing. What is that one thing that we want really to be the first one? That's where you start. And then if you feel like you have a room, you have the right intent, it's just a different keyword, and that you want to add in it, then you can do that once you are in the AI editor by a few different ways. So once you are in the AI editor, what you can do is you can either do a multi-keyword research and score the same content for two different keywords. But what we recommend is, instead of doing that, you can also go to your related keywords and add more key and allow you to score for those topics. So you can search for it or you can manually add them yourself.
So the quick wins cannot be fueled by existing credit system? No, this is going to be extra. So the one that's coming version 7.8 is going to be extra.
It's different type of content, APIs, data points, and everything that we're collecting. It's much more of a product that has been reworked, rethought by collecting, very different types of data and putting it together. So pricing cannot align with what we do, like with documents is a lot more processing, because not only it's tracking your content, it integrates with Google Analytics, and everything has a cost attached with it when it comes to data. So it's a different approach, but you'll get an extended trial, so you can test out whether it works for you or not, and if it does, there will be some initial price offerings.
Awesome. Looks like we answered all the questions. Will the YouTube module be improved?
The YouTube module will work on adding a couple of more utilities in it. But again, our core focus is still creating ranking content. So for YouTube, where we are converting right now a YouTube video transcript into a blog post, we're making some improvements to it, which will kind of create the headlines by itself too. So you don't have to structure that into it. But that's what's immediate for that, not extensive work on that will be done unless it is an SEO project.
Awesome. I do have one final poll for you guys, and that is if anyone's interested to participate in a case study that we will promote on the website, so we'll get some extra backlinks and we'll get some extra bonus credits for you to take the time to do that. Go ahead and vote on this poll. Let me know for those who want to participate in the case study, and then we'll just do something cool with you.
Absolutely. And if you have a website where you've created a few, 100 like pages, or you at least have a decent amount of traffic and many pages ranking, and we're happy to give you access to quick wins, for some time, to allow you to really accelerate your site in the next month or so, and we can take some case studies out of it that would, then happy to pass on some of the bigger discounts to you guys.
Awesome.
The old quick win tool will be available for current 7.8. The old quick win tool is still there. It was doing very minimalistic in terms of helping you identify the right targets and like approach from a content optimization eye versus content creation eye. So that is not going to be available, but like I said, the tool will be totally reworked and it will be available to everyone to use, for extended amount of time. And then, if you like it, you want to keep using it, that's when you pay for the add-on. But if you don't like it, that's okay, and it will just stay there. So it's a much different approach, but the results that you will see from the quick wins in 7.8 are going to be significantly higher, faster, and yeah, just I'm everything that's faster, I'm all for it. But
John is asking that people really need to hear more about Outranking, far better than Jasper, in his opinion. Yes, so if you guys are publishing guest posts, and if you especially publish guest posts on some popular websites around marketing, SEO, content, anything related to that, we'll be glad if you mention Outranking. We'll be happy to provide, as a thank you, some extra credits for you. Think about like 1,000,000 credits for you for those reputable websites. If you publish on something like HubSpot, there's multiple websites that accept guest posts. If you want to kind of ask to participate, let's say you're publishing a piece of content as a guest post, we're happy to pitch in and just provide some additional content, either as a quote or just create a part of content, and then you can take it and then use it as something that you're going to publish on those websites. So absolutely, please collaborate with us. Happy to do anything. We're a very approachable, Facebook group, or just email me, Natalie at Outranking. Happy to do anything that you can imagine. Thank you so much for mentioning this.
yes, absolutely, John will give you that. There will be a special pricing for all our early adopters as well as whoever's on the platform currently. So yes, we'll announce that as we get closer to the launch, and it is planned for the same time next week, Wednesday, well, Thursday, 12 a.m. So hope to see you guys next Thursday with a big bang on optimization. Bring your websites and be ready to plug it in, because this will make the move tomorrow. Like, you plug it in, you take the optimization suggestions, you implement them, we'll be able to track what you did, and what sort of result it brought in live environment. So uh, yes, join for the next week's webinar.
All right, and that's it. This has been an amazing session, a little bit shorter than our usual, which is probably good. Our usual sessions are like an hour and a half at least. We'll see what's gonna be next week. I don't know if we're gonna do a whole event, like a full-blown event. Are you guys enjoying this? Do you think it's a little bit too much? Because since we're releasing the new, brand new stuff next week, do you want to have this as a separate event, or would you like to have just as a video, and then you can ask your questions in the group? Let us know. We're open to anything that you, not too much. Okay. Live, live,
Thank
live.
you, everyone.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
This is it.
Alrighty, see you
All
guys.
right. Thanks, everyone. Okay. Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good to
I,
see you, Jason.
for everyone for everyone who said yes that they're interested to participate in the poll, I'll reach out to all of you guys and then we'll do some cool stuff together. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Bye.